Hi, this is the Fedora Badges Outreachy Office Hours Part 1. We'll have another part tomorrow that Samara will be guiding and leading. Um, I want to, so I had a couple ideas for what we could do with this time, but I really wanted to check in with everyone on the call and see if people came with questions. So if you came with specific questions, just say so in the chat right now. Um, give everyone a minute to have a chance to drop something in the chat. If you came with questions, are there specific things that you want to talk about? Let me know in the chat. Okay. I see a couple in here. So first, I'll start with the first one that's in here. If you have other questions, feel free to write them out in the chat, or after I'm done, if you would like to speak up on the call, you can do that as well. So the first question is, how can we ensure our application is selected under this project? Well, there's a ton of people applying. Everyone's going to be at different skill levels and experience, and it takes contributions, right? And a willingness to learn about Fedora Badges aesthetic and how we design Fedora Badges. So it also takes helping and collaborating with other people. You know, that's something that Mary and I watch out for, and we're hoping that people engage in that, as that's how we try to work in Fedora, just in general, not just Fedora Badges. I would say, you know, follow up on the tickets that you've worked on once you receive a review, and you know, open more once you're done with that. Start learning about different tools that you might be using during the internship, and start to adopt those. We're going to use Inkscape primarily. And maybe try, you know, hang out in some of the other Fedora spaces. There's Fedora Join. I'm sure that people have multiple interests here. So getting involved in other places is also a cool thing to do. All right. How can we better collaborate with mentors and peers? So I've seen people collaborating already. I think it just depends on what ticket you might be working on. That you might be working on one by yourself, or you might be a bunch of people working on something. So if you want to work with someone else, say, you know, ask them. You could say, hi, I really liked the design you added here. I have some ideas and I'd like to try them out. Is that okay with you? You know, in open source in Fedora, we really work on trying to come up with the best solution together, right? So I recognize that there's a sense of competition here because there's one internship position and lots of people interested. But in general, in Fedora, we just work together to come up with the best solution for things. And that's one of the reasons why I was attracted to the Fedora design team, stayed on the Fedora design team. I have background in the arts, and I found that this space was just not as competitive, and I was able to learn without feeling judged for that. So the point being is just ask someone if you want to collaborate. That's the best way to do so. I'm going to keep going through here. I think I covered this in the first question, the how can we maximize our chances of being selected. I described a number of ways to do that. Here, I registered on the Fedora account, verified my account through a link sent to my mail, but can't log in. So you can't log in on any Fedora website. I think you should message me separately about this question. Feel free to message me on Element, and we can troubleshoot whatever's going on there. Because you should be able to log in. I'm not sure if this is a question, but I'm going to go ahead and take it as a question. So is working on one ticket counted as one contribution? So yes. So once you finish your work on a ticket, or once we get to the end of the application period, you'll put each one of these tickets that you work on in as a contribution on the Outreachy page. And you'll provide some notes. You'll say, I made 3 drafts, and the fourth one was finalized, or I'm in process here, and give a brief description of what you've done. I hope that helps with that one. Could you please share other channels links, or how can I find those? Right. So I'm not sure what messaging platform you're using. Are you accessing Element through your web browser?
Yes, I'm using only Element. What you mentioned about Fedora Join.
Right. So they have so they have channels there. So are you using an application, or are you using the web browser?
Web browser.
Okay, hold on a second. I think I know how to do this one for you. Okay, so if you use this is Fedora's own, Element matrix server, right? So my thought is, I think if you sign in with your Fedora account through this page, you should see a bunch of Fedora channels, right? So I'm going to share my screen really quick, and let's see if I can actually do it through here. I use an app. So you'll see this, continue with your Fedora account. It will take you here. You'll log in. Now I already have my account kind of set up, so yours might look a little bit different when you get to this page. I think it's doing some kind of setup right now, syncing my chats or something. Yes. So you'll probably see this, and you can go explore public rooms, and here you'll see a bunch of Fedora rooms, and you can look in here, join Fedora.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay. Let me go back here and see what else. Okay. Okay. I noticed and said that we should limit ourselves to 3 tickets, but I was wondering if it's 3 tickets at a time or 3 tickets for the whole contribution period. So it's 3 tickets at a time, because we have about like 20 plus people applying. It's really about mentor capacity. I love that people are enthusiastic about doing as many tickets as possible. But we're just 2 people, and we have full-time jobs, and this is a volunteer thing for us. So we are trying to give as much time as we possibly can to everyone. But in order to provide, thoughtful, consistent reviews of the work, we have to limit people so that there's only a certain amount of things happening at once, so we can actually get to all of those. And if you think like 20 times 3, that's 60 potential things to review. So that's quite a bit, and we're trying to do them as much as we can. So once you finish a ticket, you can pick another ticket up. So it's not limited to 3. I need more elaboration on how to go about the contribution towards badges. So I think some good places to start for that is this page here. And I think I've copied this into the chat a couple times. But you want to learn about badges. You want to understand how to design them from the docs. If you have specific questions, we can go over those. But just the general process you should be able to glean from the docs here. I would also take a look at this Outreachy FAQ. And if you scroll down, there's FAQ specific to design projects. That will answer a lot of the common questions that people have about working on design or badges in Fedora. Okay. Will contributions be counted only if it gets accepted or resolved by us? Or working on it would also be considered as a contribution? So yes, any work, the second one, any work that you do, even if it doesn't get accepted, should be recorded as a contribution, right? So you can say, you know, I've done 3 drafts, it hasn't been accepted yet, or, you know, someone else's design has been accepted before I could finish, that kind of thing. Still add that in as a contribution, and even if it doesn't get accepted, you know, and you finish work there, you can start on another ticket. All right, is using Element app enough, or is it necessary to use Telegram too? Using Element is definitely enough. We've actually retired the Fedora Badges Telegram chat to try to minimize confusion, and there's like bridges that work between the different chat platforms, and they're kind of buggy, and so that's one of the reasons why we retired that, right? Because it takes maintenance and it doesn't always work great anyway, and we're having texts missed from this side or that side, and it was causing a lot of confusion. So Element is fine. That's Fedora's preferred app. We have our own server. We have our own login there, so go ahead and use that. While selecting the interns, what is considered more important, the amount of contributions or the ideas we pitch in the proposal? So I'd say this is a balance. You know, if you have a ton of contributions, but they're not high quality or they're not following the specifications of, you know, what the ticket is, then it doesn't really matter if there's a lot. So I guess being thoughtful about what you're doing, and so I guess it's more the second, right? So the ideas we pitch in the proposal is probably going to get you further. Even if you only did 3, there are some really big projects in there. So I think as long as you're being thoughtful with the contributions, it's okay if you have a little, it's okay if you have a lot. All right, next question. Even though we don't have to use Inkscape for the contributions, I'm trying to get familiar with it, but most of the Inkscape material I found is written. Where would a good place to be to look for video learning resources? So I would say that YouTube. I don't know if you've checked YouTube yet. I have seen and found quite a few tutorials on there for Inkscape. So hopefully that's helpful. I think that's going to be your best bet to find things. Okay. If we contribute in 3 tickets, but they have yet to be approved, do they count as contribution? So yes, they count as a contribution, but hopefully we'll get to that approval point. We still have a couple weeks, at least 2 or 3 weeks. Apologies, I don't know the exact dates for the contribution period. So hopefully we can get through some more of these tickets. If I am done with a ticket, how will I submit it for review? So if you have a draft for a ticket, then you want to go to that ticket and upload your PNG and your source file to the ticket. Then Samara or myself will come through and review it when we pass through the repo, and then from there you can continue work. Okay, in order to start working on a badge, where does one start with no prior experience? So I would say take a look at these links that I've sent here. The Fedora Badges docs, how to design badges, the mentored projects FAQ. Once you get through all of that, if you have some specific questions, I'm happy to guide you. Okay. Where can I get the SVG format for predefined badges? So I think what you're asking is, how do I get previous art designs, or how do I get the templates? So like designs that are up on the website already, or do you want the template files? Well, let's just do both then. And I will just share my window with you really quick here. So in order to get the prior badge designs, I find that the easiest way is to just find them over here versus trying to look through all the tickets and type in the right thing in the search bar. So I'll go in and I'll say, I want this one. And then you'll see right here, it says criteria. And you'll see that there's a badges ticket associated with each one. So you can click on there, and then this is how you find the original ticket that it belongs to. And then you'll scroll down and look for the art. So I always kind of scroll to the bottom to see, what's the latest files that were uploaded. So it looks like archive files. So here it is. So there's a known bug here. So I'm just going to quickly review that. When you click this, it will say page not found. It's a known bug. We used to use a different system, and we had to migrate everything from that, which is called Track, to this one, which is Pajor, right? So what we want to do is take out files. And there I have it downloading. So all you have to do is remove that, press enter, and you will get the correct file. The other file will just give you a site can't be reached. So don't try to use that one. You'll see that there's not even a link up here. So you want to find the one that looks like this and remove the files section. Okay. And then here, if you're looking for the templates, they are right here on this how to design Fedora Badges page. I hope that answered your question. So, okay, there's another question. Can we use Google SVGs in badges? So I don't want to say no outright, but I'm curious what you mean. So it really depends on how the artwork is licensed, right? So each piece of art is licensed a different way. When you sign up for Fedora and work on Fedora things, it's automatically licensed Creative Commons 4.0, I believe, right? So that means that other people can use and remix the artwork that you put onto the Fedora, into the Fedora community space, like Pajor or something. If you put art there, it's pretty much automatically licensed that way. So it really depends on what, how each graphic is licensed and what's required. So some of them will say, you can use this, but you need to provide attribution. So in some instances, we might want to do that. Like I know we use photographs on the community blog a lot, and there's a place to put a caption where we can give credit to the photographer, right? But in something like badges, you really have just a freestanding design that needs to look clean. So I would suggest for badges to pretty much default to creating your own artwork or taking previous designs and remixing them. I hope that answered your question. So people keep having an issue signing into badges or into different things. So I saw someone provide like a way to get around this in the channel. I don't know if that person is here. Yeah, Sarah, go ahead.
Okay, so basically, when you try to log into the site, there's this pop-up that keeps coming up, and no matter how many times you put in your details, it keeps popping up and just doesn't do anything. So what you have to do is actually cancel the pop-up. There are two buttons. There's login, then there's cancel. So you have to cancel the pop-up, and then the actual login page comes up. So I think the person that asked, when I told them this fix, they tried it and it worked out. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Sarah. So try that out right now, Bhavya, and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, cool. Someone is saying it works. Someone is right saying it works. Is this just when y'all are logging into the badges site, or is this any site?
I think I experienced it when logging into the badges site.
Okay. So I think that might be a bug that we might want to get fixed. So I'm gonna write that down. Where's my note?
Yeah, I had the same thing when I was applying for my internship.
Yeah? I swear.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so weird. Okay. Well, I think it's time that we take a look into that. And I think I know who to ask about it. So I'll take care of that and we'll see what happens. It's just the badges site. Okay. All right. So let me just scroll back and make sure I'm getting okay. So the next question is, I was working on a badge from issue 828, and after downloading, okay. So I was downloading an SVG file. The elements on the badge aren't separated. That is, the graphics and the background are all merged together. What do I do? I only want to add a few tweaks to the design. So let's just take a look at it together real quick. 828. Oh, I see what I did. Bring that up. Share my screen here. Okay, so it looks like we wanted to make some improvements to this. Basically, I think the reason that we wanted to improve here is because it doesn't really show up that well. Like if you're looking at this at a small size, it kind of just all blends together, and like it looks a little pixelated to me too. So I don't know if we need to find a better logo file for Academy. That might be the case, but I've downloaded the SVG. And I'm going to open that up and I'll share that screen with you in just a moment. So to me, this actually looks like it might not be grouped. So you could just go in here and change this to 2022 if you wanted to. I don't know if that's what we're actually doing. I think we're trying to update this. So actually the art looks like a PNG. I can't really tell. Oh, shoot. Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is there are two, the person provided two options for the badges. And
Mhm.
this one is actually the one that wasn't pushed. And this one separates all right. But the one that was actually pushed, that's the SVG file I took. And that one isn't separated. And I checked this one is separated. So I wasn't sure what the issue was with the
Let me try open the other one then. Let's see here. Open. I think it will pop up. Is it showing my movement right now? I think I have to change my window. Okay. So this one also looks like it's, but I think that this is a PNG, and that's kind of the problem, which means that it's a bitmap that's been imported in. It's not a vector file, right? But I kind of think that what needs to be done here is this needs to, we need to add like a stroke onto it or something, but I also think we need to refer back to the Academy brand for this one because this is for a specific conference. So we don't want to show their logo in a way that they don't want us to show it. So that's one thing, but we also want to make sure that the badge is readable. So I think that's why the other one was got when we went with the other one because it kind of had a lighter background. But I think we were hoping to improve it a little bit more. Now, Samara was the one who tagged this one, and I think she's on the call. So if you had anything you wanted to add, feel free right now. Either not, maybe she's not here anymore. So I'm not sure if that answers your question. As far as I can tell, the pieces are separate. So, you know, it's interesting that the background isn't allowing anything. I guess it's locked. This template part, I guess, is locked. So let's see. Well, so it looks like to me the elements on the top are able to be edited and the background template part is locked. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
You got it. Are there any other questions that I can answer? So my thought was that I could maybe walk through editing a badge or working on a badge for a little bit so people could see what my process looks like and maybe pick up some tips on using Inkscape. Does that sound like it would be useful to people?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Please.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So I'm going to go with artwork needs improvement, I think. And hopefully we'll find something kind of straightforward to do. So let's see here. I'm just kind of looking through. I can share with you what I'm doing actually, so that you're not just like, what's going on? I'm going to try to look for something that kind of has like a small-ish fix so that we can, get through it and it's not like a kind of a monumental undertaking. So let's see here. This one's for matrix users. So that's Element. That's what the technology that's behind Element. That was an app for us. So getting an account on the Matrix server. So basically that's for everyone who's logged into Element. We want to be able to give them a badge. And someone's not sure if it's a good idea. And then you're like, no, we should do it. Okay. And then we have some people who have tried things out. So this is a previous badge. They added in the Element and the Fedora app, or the Fedora logos. It's cute. So this one, I'm not sure what's going on. It doesn't look like they've used the template correctly. Colors are really flashing, I would say. So I probably won't try to take that one up. Here's another one. Oh, it's the same design. Okay. Here's another one. This is really cute. I love like the group of pandas here. The problem with this is that it's too small, right? Like everything inside here is too small. Like we're seeing it kind of a big size, but when people look at badges, they're looking at them at like this size or smaller. So it's really hard to tell what's going on in there, even though it's pretty cute as an illustration. So looks like I was given some reviews here. This is cute. I like this one because it's kind of got that Matrix. If anyone's seen the movie The Matrix, it's kind of a throwback to that. Oh, actually, I didn't. It popped out. There it is. I think that one's cute. I don't know what they're doing with the template here. It's clear to me that something happened with the exporting, but I think that there's a SVG. So let's see what the SVG looks like. Oh, here is another one with a better kind of export. And then here's another one. I think that the first one fits a bit better. So I think we'll go with that one. So I've downloaded the SVG and I'm going to open that up and share it with you momentarily. All right, so really, I'm not sure what's going on with this file. Let's see. I'm not sure if maybe some pieces got removed or what happened here. But okay, back to the drawing board then. Okay, so the issue is that that was made in Illustrator, and so Inkscape had a problem opening it up. Just too bad. Let me see if this other SVG on the ticket is usable. I go there, and I'm gonna try opening it. Hopefully this one was done in Inkscape. Okay, it was. So I can see here that this person has taken the badges template and opened it in a file of their own. So what I'm going to do is open a new template and import their design into the template. Where's the template? This one should be community. I need to share my other screen. So here it is. So when you open Inkscape, if you're trying out Inkscape, there's a couple hotkeys that I'm going to just try to share as I go through. So if you want to get the whole canvas, press 5. And it will make the canvas fit inside whatever screen you have. So you could be, totally zoomed out, over here, and you're just like, I'm just doing stuff over. I can't find my thing. So all you have to do is press 5. It'll bring it back and center it so you can work on it. So from there, I'm going to do save as, and I'm going to go into my badges, and I'm going to say element or matrix user. Won't make any changes to the template. I'll just leave that as is and work on top of it. So now we'll import, and it won't show you the dialog box, but I'm importing that badge design. There it is. So I think a lot of elements that we could use are actually here, but it doesn't quite fit the badges aesthetic. So in order to ungroup, which I think this kind of hits on Sarah's question from earlier, you can press Control-Shift-G, and then you'll see that all the items are ungrouped. So I'm just going to Control-Z that. You'll see all of the items are grouped. They're moving around as one. And you can also do here, Object, Ungroup. And you'll see here that the hotkeys are described in, oh, you can't see. I have a drop-down menu. Well, if you're in Inkscape, you click Object, there's a drop-down menu, and you'll see an option to ungroup. And then you'll actually see the hotkeys next to it. So that's the Control-Shift-G. So I'm like, we don't need this. I'm going to delete these pieces out. This is what we're looking at right now. I'm going to just group it real quick, and then I'm going to click here, and I'm going to open the Align and Distribute, and that's under Object as well, Align and Distribute. So here you have an option to guide your object around in ways that you are going to want to do, right? So what I want to do is I want to take the new art and I want to align it with this badge area, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say relative to the last selected. So I'm going to click on the badge art I want to move. Then I'm going to click on the spot I want to move it onto. And then I'm going to press center on vertical axis, center on horizontal axis. So I can see that they have edited the size of the template. It's not the correct size. I'm just going to go ahead and say, nope, I actually don't want to do that since it's not correct. What I do want to do is take out this background. Oops, again. I'm going to take out this background. And the reason is it's going over the edge and it's not exactly like any of the other backgrounds we have. This you can see is also pretty much the same size and shape as, oh gosh, where did it go? All right, well, I guess I dragged it over. Let's see, there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna see how big this is. So it says 173. This one's 151. I'm gonna group this. I'm gonna copy this width. I'm going to lock it so that it keeps the aspect ratio, and I'm going to reduce the size, right? So now this size of this graphic is the same as here. Now I'm going to shift click again. It's going to be relative to the last selected, and I'm going to center it horizontally and vertically. So you can see that their design is going outside of the box, so it's kind of problematic here. But I think we're close enough that we can kind of get where we need to get, right? So let's delete that background. It's not doing us any favors anyway. We don't use drop shadows, so I'm going to I mean, we do use them sometimes, but it's just not that often. So I'm actually just going to remove the filter if I can. where is that drop shadow coming from? It's definitely here somewhere. It's this thing. Let's see. Maybe they've done something. Sometimes I get very confused about what people have done. So you know what? We're just gonna delete it and we'll remake that. That's fine. So we have a computer, which is cool. I'm curious. So this has been clipped. Okay. So when you double click on something, you can see the vectors for it, right? You can see here's a vector node, here's a vector node. And then you'll see that some are like not showing up. You're like, wait, there's vector nodes out here. Why are they not showing up? This means that the item has been clipped. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do object, clip, set, release. And here you can see that this person outlined this and clipped it here. But there's a better way to do this, right? Because we're using this as our space, you can actually just clip using this actual thing. So what you do is click the item that you want to clip. You have an item that goes on top of it. You shift click so that both are selected. The place where it overlaps will be the part that shows up. And then I'm going to the drop down menu right now. I know you can't see it, but it's object, clip, set. And now it's perfectly clipped to the edge of our background, right? So we don't have to guess about that or try to draw a line ourselves. It's now perfectly clipped. So we're going to go in and do that again. But this one, I actually think we can just, well, maybe not. Let's see, object. Okay, this object back here is not clipped. It's just kind of been incorrectly sized. So what we're going to do is do this instead. I'm going to Control D this. I'm going to give myself like a line. I think it's maybe right here-ish. And then I'm going to add in nodes right there. Okay. So I'm making a new table right now. Don't want to do that. Get a little bit closer. And it's like right here. Right. So the next thing I'm going to do is those are rounded nodes, right? So when you click on these, this one is actually probably just has no curves, but this one has a curve. So before I can delete any of the other ones, I need to say that it's not a curved piece anymore. So I'm going to make that node a corner node instead of a smooth node. So now when I edit it, it doesn't mess up this down here. If I hadn't done that, oops, edit redo. If I hadn't done that, when I delete this up here or do anything with this, it could potentially bend what I'm doing over there, right? So, okay, so I've made this that, and I'm going to make sure the other one is one of those two. And then I'm going to delete this up here. I'm going to take this. Oh, there's another node to delete. It's right there. I'm going to take this and I'm going to flatten it down to the guide on both sides. Oh, and there's another one to delete there. Okay, so I flattened it. Should be the same exact size, shape, everything as the background. So I'm going to take that color and then I'm going to lower where this is in the scheme, right? Now that's there, and I'm going to take theirs and I'm going to delete it. Okay, so we've added in a new table. This I'm pretty sure is clipped, so I'm going to release that clip. It is. So we'll get rid of their drawn in one. We'll take our background and we'll copy it again. We'll select both and we'll do object clip set. And now it's perfectly aligned with the edge of the badge artwork. So as I'm doing this, do people have any questions? Is what I'm doing making sense? Am I going too fast? I just want to make sure that this is helping people. if you're good, say good in the chat. If it's helpful, say yes in the chat. Okay, so I'm gonna move to the next thing. So this is like a matrix themed badge design. So I kind of think it would be cool to make this black and green, or like a dark gray and a dark green. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do it, but like, let's see what we can do, right? So I'm actually going to change the colors, do swap and fill stroke. So we try not to use black as much as we can. It's just, we could try to keep it like bright, fun, colorful, but you will see that there's like dark gray or some black used if it makes sense for the concept, right? So here we have the matrix look. So add someone into the chat here. We have a matrix look, so we kind of think we could do it. So this person, they have the hacker like wearing cufflinks. I'm like, I don't know. I think hackers wear hoodies. So I think we should put a hoodie on this panda and not this. I also think we could just make it dark blue. Okay, I see that there's some shapes going on here. I think we can make it dark blue instead, just so we can like avoid the black, and then we can make the actual panda like a green color maybe. We'll make because like green kind of goes with that like hacker thing, right? Matrix feel. I think we'll get rid of these little bits here, and I think we'll get rid of this. Actually, no, that's actually going to be helpful. We can take that. So instead, so I'm going to start doing some illustration, right? So I want to like give him a hoodie. Okay, that's funny. So there's some kind of clip that's going on right now. We'll figure that out in a second. I'm going to make this one round. And we are making a hoodie, a hacker hoodie for a panda. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see what's going on with the nodes. So I'll bring it here to like connect it. I'm going to delete this one. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, there we go. Sometimes when you click one of them, it'll delete both if you have the line selected and not the node selected. So I'll go here, and I'm trying to find like the edge of its head, which is there. Delete that. I'm going to bring this one out here and make the edge rounded by clicking on the smooth node. So we're almost there with this panda hoodie. Oh, and that one needs to be smooth as well. Smooth, smooth, smooth. All right, so let's take the panda ear and make it this brighter color. Oh wait, we're gonna do green, that's right. So we're doing green. So we give that panda ear green, and we'll give this panda ear green. And I see something weird right here. I'm wondering what that is. Is it? Okay, it looks like these two nodes aren't connected, or there's an extra one in there. There's an extra one. So I deleted that. I'm going to smooth these nodes out again, just so they're nice and smooth and panda-y. And now we're getting there. I think that this is also going to need to have a stroke like this one. So let's do swap and fill stroke. We're going to have to edit that. The stroke here is 2.54. So we want to make sure that that matches throughout the whole design there. Oh, and let's see, there's a little weirdness going on there. So you can see that you can do a lot with a small amount of nodes, right? Don't really need a ton of nodes to draw a picture. All right, let's give this head its final shape and this nose, its final color rather. And then I also think that this black back here, not sure if we need it, but I guess let's see what it looks like if we make it more blue. All right, let's zoom out just to see what the heck's going on. Okay, so I think it's working. I think we just have to press on with it, right? So here there's some stuff that looks a little funky. So we'll just tighten that up some. And honestly, this panda might need an adjustment as well. And I think I'm just gonna, that looks better. This, I think we can just make it a little bit separate just so that it's less, what's the right word, busy in there. Getting rid of that one too. And let's minus out. Okay, so slowly but surely, we're getting there. I think that this has I don't know how they're doing this, honestly. Let's see. Filter, remove filters. I'm trying to remove the filters, but I still see a drop shadow on it, which doesn't make sense to me. I wonder if I can copy it, if it will do the same thing. Okay, maybe because it's clipped. Honestly, sometimes there's some stuff with Inkscape where I'm just straight up confused. I'm like, I don't know why it's acting this way. If you come across that problem, don't worry. It's not just you. I don't know, I might have to redraw that panda head in order to get this. Okay, so I'm going to save the work that I've done here, and I'm going to upload this to that, sorry, the ticket, right? So if anyone else can jump on this and try to work with this, we have just 5 minutes left. So I'd like to take a couple questions or resolve anything else. I know a few people have come and left, so I want to give a chance for other people to ask questions. And while people are writing up their questions, I will add my working file. And other people are welcome to take that and do something with it. All right, is there any other things that people want to ask? That's totally fine. You're welcome to drop messages and questions in the chat. Samara will be doing another office hours. I'll probably show up for a few minutes to make sure the recording is going and all of that. I'm going to take the recording and put it unlisted on our YouTube channel and share that back for people too. And in the meantime, I wanted to share just a couple things with everybody here. You can see more hands-on people working with badges. Wait, why did I, oh, okay. Oh my gosh, I needed to scroll. There's more stuff here. Does it make a difference if I work on Adobe Illustrator? I missed that question. Apologies. It's okay to work with Adobe Illustrator right now. During the internship, you will need to use free software, Inkscape. But we want to make sure that people are able to show off their skill sets. And like, we're here to help you learn free software. That's part of our mission, right? So it's okay if you don't come to the table with that skill. We can help you get there, but you will be expected to use it for the entirety of the internship. And because there's some interface issues, it's probably a better idea to work in Inkscape in general, or try at least, because not all the SVG's files will open correctly. How can you get a ticket? Take a look through, and on the badges Peugeot, there's a tag there, Outreachy 2022. You're going to click on that tag, and it'll show you all the tickets that are tagged with Outreachy 2022. You want to go in, you want to read a couple that look interesting to you. Read the background, read the description, read and take a look at what other people have doing, just like you saw me doing for this Matrix User 1. And then you want to comment on there that you're going to start work. Because we have so many people, it doesn't make sense for us to okay each individual person starting. Please just, do 3 tickets, and we will review as soon as possible. What I was going to share was, if you want to see more hands-on, like people working in Inkscape with Fedora badges, from this YouTube, you should see 2 or 3. Anyone can design a Fedora badge, Inkscape demo, Fedora Badges Design Workshop. Those are both from Samara. Then there's the Block 2018. That was me giving a workshop in person. And in 2017, I did a workshop in person as well. So you can see there some people doing hands-on stuff with Inkscape. I would say that the ones that Samara have done are a little bit more useful, because the other ones were, in person. So it's me walking around a room helping people. And it's not as much, like, you can't see what I'm doing on Inkscape. Another thing I wanted to share with everybody was this session, a panel discussion with prior Fedora mentees. So over the weekend, we had a Fedora Mentor Summit, with a place full of mentors in Fedora to get together, but also mentees to come and talk about some of their experiences in the past and former mentees. So this is a really interesting session. I think people will find useful, inspiring, I hope. And then last but not least, I wanted to share Fedora's having a release party, a virtual release party in May. I think it's after the contribution period ends, but I invite everyone to join, even if you're not chosen for the Outreachy Badges Design Internship. We still want you around in Fedora. We still welcome everybody to, get involved, contribute, or just hang out and socialize. You don't have to contribute. You can just kind of hang out and learn and be with us. So I invite you to register for the release party. I hope people are able to make it. And yeah, I think we're out of time for today. So make sure to leave your questions in the chat. I'm going to stop the recording here in a minute, and I have another meeting to get to. So I hope everyone has a great day.